Noel Crawford, Head of Ecosystem Development at IBM.
That's right.
Welcome to Startup TV, and thank you very much for hosting us this morning.
Thanks, Richard. Delighted to have you here.
Good. So would you like to tell us a little bit about IBM and your role here?
Sure. So I suppose we've been here for a while. I think the office here in Ireland around ecosystem development is known for being probably one of the most innovative worldwide in IBM. We invented SmartCamp from here, from which has I suppose has bred our whole startup program around the world, which we call Global Entrepreneur, or Global Entrepreneur Program. We're in about 35 countries worldwide, and it all started here in Ireland. So I suppose the whole premise behind that that program is that, you know, if we're looking for the partners and customers of tomorrow, we got to start talking to them today. And,
so this concept of ecosystem, it's about connecting IBM with startups, customers,
yes,
partners, collaborators.
Yeah, and it's an ecosystem of value, and we talked about this previously. I know that this whole idea of value has to be real to everybody within the ecosystem, where the ecosystem just doesn't work. It's not a pyramid scheme. It doesn't work that way. It has to be an ecosystem where everybody involved, including the end consumer of the products that the startups have or IBM have, gets full value from that. If you can define the value in the ecosystem to everybody, what the startup is going to get from its relationship with IBM, how IBM is going to help them scale and grow, and give them assistance to do that. If you can get that understanding across to your partner, then that's the basis of a very successful partnership. And we have a lot of very successful partnerships.
Super. And say I was a startup, how would I get involved?
Yeah. Look, our door is open. We actually, Europe here, we're called office hours.
It's incredibly welcoming as well.
Glad you feel that way.
Yeah,
That's great. We want startups to feel very welcome here. All we want is a startup with an open mind, a good idea. They don't even have to have developed the idea yet. We can even help them with that, by the way. But what we want is people who are willing to be open-minded and work with the best partners. So what does that mean for a startup? What do they get out of working with IBM? So first of all, you get the welcome in the door, and we sit down and we listen, because we know that startups like to talk about their ideas and their business. And we listen, and if we feel that it's a good match for IBM, and generally it is, because these days, what's a tech startup? You can be a tech company, or you can be a company that uses tech. So, you know, we listen to everybody.
It's a great way of looking at it.
Yeah. So, and our technology suits everybody. So once we've formed the basis to say that, look, we should be talking to each other, we then explain our partnership program. So our first partnership program is Global Entrepreneur. Global Entrepreneur is kind of binary. You apply for it, you're either accepted into it or you're not. Generally, you are if you're seen as a good fit. That gives you access to the whole IBM software catalog, free for test and development purposes from the cloud. So you can go and work with IBM software. You can integrate it into your product. We'll help you do that as well. We've got technical people that can help with that. You can get access to the IBM cloud through, which is called Software. We'll give you access to that up to €1,000 a month credit through our software software catalyst program to qualifying companies, and that lasts for a year. $1,000 a month credit for a year if you qualify. We will give you access to IBM Bluemix, which is our platform as a service. Absolutely stunning development environment, which is, as you know, is gaining ground now in Dublin.
And globally.
Yes. So we will give you access to Bluemix through our Cloud Global Entrepreneur Program. Cloud Global Entrepreneur Program is very interesting because it gives up to 10K of credits a month for up to a year. So it's 128K of credit over a year to qualifying companies. And that gives you access to 3 different offerings from IBM. It gives you access to software, so you can spend some of that credit on software, so that brings you above the Catalyst amount. You can spend some of it on Bluemix, as much as you want on IBM Bluemix. That's on a pay-as-you-go basis. Or you can spend some of it on Cloudant, which is our database for the cloud. It's an almost infinitely scalable database for the cloud. So, and we can give you help with all of these products as well. And you can cut and slice that 10K any way you want.
That's an incredible toolkit to get going.
It's fabulous. So for startups in their first couple of years, where seed funding can be hard to come by, where these services are generally very expensive, it does give you a really big boost.
It's incredible.
The big boost you really get, though, Richard, is the help from the people that are involved.
Yeah, the human piece is really critical.
Exactly. So you don't just need the tech. You need the tech advice as well. How do you use use this? How are you going to deploy on our software model? So yeah, it's one thing to say, there you go, knock yourself out, but to have somebody sit with you and say, okay, I'm going to work with you to develop that. Then business advice, for example. Sorry.
I was just going to ask you, you spoke earlier about you have a global sales operation here, and that a startup approached you and they needed help understanding how to sell to C-level customers. So this is an example of the kind of human interface that you can provide.
Absolutely. We have 800 sellers here on site that sell in the digital environment. So they sell online, just like most of the startups that we're talking to. They want to sell online, but they've never done it before. They have a great idea. So we have a lot of people here who can advise them on the best approach, especially if they're integrating IBM software. It's in our interest to help them grow their company because they're going to be helping sell IBM licenses as well, or software as a service.
Rising tide lifts all boats.
Exactly. And then of course there's the other thing, because they may want to sell into enterprise, and we can give advice on selling to enterprise because we're the experts at it.
That's fantastic. And what about the Irish Startup Awards? What's important for you guys about this?
So I suppose presence. We want to get the word out there that we're here. We're doing business.
You're not just here, you're here to support.
We're here to support, and we've been here since the 1950s. Our startup program is probably one of the biggest startup programs in the world now. And we want to get out there helping Irish companies to grow. So we always look at vehicles and partnerships that can help us get our word out. We're very closely aligned with Bank of Ireland. They're very good partners of ours. So it just seemed natural for us to get involved in the Bank of Ireland sponsored Startup Awards and get involved ourselves and do stuff with them and take part. And we'll be running some events around it. And
there'd be great leverage, because of the various benefits that you mentioned. There'd be great leverage for anybody who takes part in the competition as well.
Oh, look, I think this competition is a must. If you think you've any chance of doing well in it, it's a must.
So get involved.
I mean, what's going to take a little bit of your time? You could be spending a lot of your time on stuff that doesn't get you very far, but something like the Bank of Ireland Startup Awards, to come along and meet the people that are going to be there, to get the kind of in-your-face opportunities to get your product out there and get it explained to people don't come along very often, and these are the kind of vehicles you need to use as a startup to get knowledge about, just as we're using it ourselves as IBM, to get knowledge out there about your product or your service. So why not?
It's fantastic. It's incredible. I'm feeling so energized actually as a result of coming out here. I really appreciate your time and for talking us through what IBM are doing and how they're partnering with others such as the Irish Startup Awards and really adding significant value. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks very much, Noel.
Great.